The slide one that can come in MEQ is like that. A 12 years old male boy reports in A&E with pain swelling in his left forearm following a fall on the outstretched hand while he was playing football. What are the 5 important points that you will be asking to the patient to arrive at a provisional diagnosis? So what could be the answer? So 5 important points will be the pain and its location, swelling and its location, deformity and its location, and if there is an wound or bleeding from the left forearm, and color, sensation, and the movement of the fingers is to be asked to rule out the neurovascular injury. So the slide 2 can be the patient says he has got pain, swelling, and deformity in the middle third of his left forearm. He further says there is no wound or bleeding, and sensation, movements, and the color of the fingers are normal. What is your provisional diagnosis for this case? And the provisional diagnosis has to be a provisional diagnosis of closed, complete, displaced fracture. Displaced because it is deformed, and deformity will always come when the fracture is displaced. So, closed, complete, displaced fracture of the middle third of the left radius and ulna without neurovascular deficit. Most of the time, deformity occurs because both bones are fractured. One bone fractured may not be that good a deformity, but still it could be one bone as well. So you are well within your rights to write fracture of the radius or ulna as a single bone fracture. Now the question could be, what are the steps of orthopedic examination? Name all the steps. What are the findings in local examination? You will elicit to confirm your provisional diagnosis. And how will you confirm your diagnosis? The answer is the steps are general examination and local examination. In local examination, inspection, palpation, movement, and the measurements in this sequence, and then neurovascular examination and special tests. Then now question 4 was, what are the findings in the local examination? On inspection, attitudes, the patient is holding his forearm with elbow flexed. There is swelling in the medial third of the left forearm, middle third of the left forearm, and the circumferential swelling is there. There is a deformity, and then direction of the deformity will be noted down, whether in the lateral side, medial side, or some other side. And then skin is to be looked for the bruises and ecchymosis. Usually there can be bruises and ecchymosis. And lastly, the radial styloid on the left side will be seen, which is usually proximally placed in case of displaced fracture because the limb is shortened. The palpation will be, the temperature will be increased. There will be tenderness on both radius and ulna if both are fractured. If one bone is fractured, then either radius is fractured, then the tenderness will be located on the radius, or if ulna is fractured, it will be located on ulna in the middle third segment. And abnormal mobility, crepitus, and bone irregularities will be confirmed to arrive at a clinical diagnosis of a fracture. The swelling will be confirmed with the full description is to be noted. The shortening will be again confirmed by putting the fingers at the radial styloid on both sides. The movements usually is very painful and not tried. There is a pain and also for the fear of displacements of the fracture. Measurement can be taken. The whole limb length is from the acromion to the radial styloid, and segmental is humeral is from acromion to the lateral epicondyle, and radial length is from lateral epicondyle to the radial styloid. Limb length discrepancy is to be confirmed by noting it down. And the special test is only one that can be done, and this is called a springing test that we'll be dealing with when we come to that in our discussion. The Question 5, which was how will you confirm your diagnosis? The diagnosis will be confirmed by taking a plain X-ray. It is anteroposterior and lateral views of the left forearm, which includes elbow and the wrist. And this is the X-ray, and they can ask you, read this X-ray. So reading the X-ray, how to read the X-ray? You have to tell about what is this X-ray consists of, or the details of the part taken and views. So this is the X-ray of the left forearm, AP and lateral view both are here. Here is the lateral, here is the AP view, and it includes the wrist and the elbow. And then you recognize where is the pathology. So there is a fracture in the middle third of the radius and ulna. Then you give the details of the fracture. So both fracture surfaces are oblique. We can see it here. They are oblique fractures. Angulated laterally. So this is angulated laterally towards the radius, and displaced laterally also. So see the radius is displaced towards radial side. Distal fragment is to be seen. Distal fragment ulna gone on the radial side. So this is the displaced laterally. In the lateral view, dorsal. So you see this is the dorsal part. It has gone dorsally. This is the palmar surface of the hand. You can see it. So it has gone away from it. This is dorsal. And then there is overriding of the fragments. It's called shortening or overriding of the bones. And there is a comminution in the radius fraction. So the radius, there is one small chip of the bone is being seen. So there is a comminution, but ulna non-comminuted. And there is soft tissue swelling. This is how you read the X-ray in the examination. Now they can ask you, what is the A&E management that you will do for this patient? What are the options of definitive treatment that you will offer, and which one will you choose? And give one advantage and one disadvantage of the treatment that you are suggesting. So the first one is A&E management. So it has to be immobilization and analgesics is to be given. Immobilization usually done by putting a above elbow PUP slab. Now, what are the options for the definitive form of the treatment? There are two options, mainly conservative and operative. So in the operative, there will be many, but conservative treatment is, it is close reduction and PUP cast application. For the younger people, especially the children, it is the procedure of the choice. Operative treatment can be open reduction and dynamic compression plate fixation, or close reduction and intramedullary nail fixation. Remember, the most of the time, open reduction and plate fixation is chosen because the redisplacement after initial reduction is very common. Close reduction in small children give good results. In 12 years, our choice is very clear. If it is displaced, both bones are fractured, completely displaced, better to do the operation. So advantages and disadvantages. So we can see it. Advantages of the close reduction: there is no need to open the fracture site, so there cannot be infection. The reduced number of the days in the hospital and cost is low. Disadvantages of the close reduction: a redisplacement is common even after you achieve a good reduction, even in PUP, and malunion is common after the redisplacement. And remember, the rotational deformity can never be corrected by remodeling. So advantages of the open reduction: it has got an advantage that there is no chance of redisplacement, and so there is no chance of malunion. Disadvantage is opening the fracture site is always fraught with the danger of infection, and hospital stay is prolonged, cost is very high. So